Alright, what's up YouTube? So today we have a special video. Today we have pretty much a care package from 3.8 Performance that's going to consist of the manifold riser, the engine leash, and the ground kit. So we're going to be installing all three of them today onto this Genesis Coupe 3.8. This is the BK2, but it's the same process for the BK1. So right off the back, we're going to get started with taking off the intake manifold, because that is actually the hardest to do in my opinion. The engine leash being the quickest and easiest, and the ground kit also being pretty easy. I'm going to show you guys how to route this today. How I do it's pretty clean. So if you guys want that clean aspect, I'm going to show you today how to do that. But yeah, let's get straight into it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take off this intake. We got our quarter intake right here. We'll take this intake off, and then we're going to go on to removing this 10mm bolt right here. Take this guy off, and then we're going to come over here, and we're going to unplug the throttle body sensor. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to take off this hose, this 10mm right here, and we're going to take out this hose back here as well. I don't know if I mentioned or not, but we have to take out this guy too. So this is also just a 10mm, and just pops right off. Gonna need to take off this 10mm next. Then we're gonna hit these two 10mm back here to hold on the wire harness. So before we can move the wire harness out of the way, there's actually another bolt back here that we need to take off. So it's gonna be right there, that 10mm, right there. Get this 10mm out of the way. With that 10mm out of the way, now this wire harness should be pretty free. Now we're back on the throttle body side again one more time. There's two ways of doing this. Either taking up the throttle body itself with a 10mm bolts and then letting the throttle body hang, or you can just take out the coolant hoses and bring up the throttle body with it. All right, as you can see, the throttle body is now off. So now we're on to our last step, and we're gonna be taking off a total of 8 bolts. We got these two 10mm that are up here, then you have 12mm that are down here. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Alright guys, and from here, pretty much everything is off the intake manifold. Now you can take it off. All we're gonna do is just simply lift up on it and it comes right off. Alright guys, so our intake is now off. So you're gonna be left with this gasket. Do not throw away your old gasket. You're gonna have to reuse it because the manifold riser requires 2 gaskets, one for the top and one for the bottom. But as you can see, there's another issue. We have this guy sticking out and we have that guy. So we need to take these guys out. And the way how you do that's pretty simple. All we're gonna do is grab our 12mm nuts that we had, and this is what we're gonna do. So we're just gonna go ahead and put this on like so, and then we're gonna put this other one on top of it. So now these two are pretty much going to sandwich. So once they start spinning, this is where you need to grab a wrench and a socket, okay? So once you get it to this point, you can see that they are pretty much touching top and bottom. So if I spin them together, they'll spin together. So what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna get a wrench, hold it on the bottom part, and then with the ratchet and a socket or an impact, get another 12mm and you're gonna hit it on top. So what you're doing right here is you're locking them together. However, this bottom one's gonna act as a pretty much to extract or take out this bottom bolt right here. So let me show you guys what I'm talking about. All right, so I tightened them together now. So now they are pretty much stuck on there together. And you see how I'm loosening it on the bottom part? Well, you can also see that that bolt is also coming out. So what you're gonna wanna do is keep doing this until the bolt comes all the way out, okay? And the way how you get these bolts off of each other is the same way you put them on. You're gonna hold it on one end and then you're gonna get the ratchet on the other end and take it off. And then we're gonna repeat the process for this one over here, and that'll be it. Then we can put on our manifold riser. All right guys, so this is what it looks like pretty much lined up. So you got two gaskets, you got one on the bottom, one on top, just like this. Try your best to line up and get it even as possible. All right, so I got the manifold and the bolts that are staged. Make sure you put the washer on them. So this is how I like to do it. So what I like to do is line up just one hole, okay? So if I can get this one hole lined up, then that means everything else will be on a pivot. So this is what I mean. So you see how this one bolt is already a little bit threaded in, but you can see both gaskets are lined up on there, and that means everything else on here will line up too. So all I have to do now is adjust it from the back, like so, get everything into place. And as you can see, the gaskets and everything are almost lined up, so I have to just move it just a little bit. Now that I have two bolts lined up, everything else will line up. So from here, everything else is just easy to put on. So that's essentially how I get everything lined up. It's really easy, it's not hard at all to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the rest of the bolts in and tighten everything up and put everything back on. By the way, these are 13 millimeters now. So with everything tightened down, we're gonna go by and then torque it down now. So I'm torquing these bolts down to 22 foot-pounds. And then these right here, I'm torquing them down to 15 foot-pounds. The reason why is because for whatever reason, these always feel like they're gonna strip on me. So I don't take it to 22 foot-pounds, I just take it to 15 foot-pounds. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and torque everything down, put everything back together, and that's how you pretty much install a manifold riser. All right, so we got everything back on, and that's pretty much it for the manifold riser install. It's not that hard at all. It takes about like an hour at most. I've seen people do it in 30 minutes. It really just depends, honestly, on the access to tools that you have. But pretty much an hour, hour and a half job to do. It's not hard at all. So let's go ahead and turn the car on real quick, check for leaks, and we'll be good to go after that. All right, there's no vacuum leaks. We are good to go. Other than that, guys, that's going to be it for this install video. We're going to go ahead and now start installing this engine leash. I'm actually going to make it just a separate video because this video is already too long. So catch me in the next video on how to install this engine leash. Later, guys.